Welcome back to the Off the Leash podcast. I'm Roen Elbert, and joining us for this episode, pitching coach for the Mankato MoonDogs. It's Shea Walker. How you doing, my friend?
I'm doing good. How are you?
Not too bad. So, for you, just getting started with how you got into the game of baseball, what really helped grow that love early on?
Um, I would say it was definitely my parents, especially my mom. Just always had me watching baseball growing up, and it was something that easily just clicked for me growing up. Watched a lot of baseball, just always had fun doing it, and was able to get serious about it at a young age. And just it's been my one and only true passions in my life. So I've kind of dedicated my whole life around baseball, and absolutely love being around the sport.
So, as your playing career has kind of transitioned into your coaching career, what made you kind of want to get into that realm?
When I was at junior college, I kind of had a knack for helping others, being like an older guy. Especially my second year there, it was my third year of college. I had a redshirt year, my first year of college, so I was able to spend 2 years at junior college. And my second year there, I was kind of realizing I was like, okay, I feel like I have this knack for being able to one help others, but have be able to actually like give my high knowledge of the game that I had at the time to my teammates. And I was like, I think I might actually be able to get into this whole coaching gig once I'm done playing. It seems something that kind of just spoke to me, and I was like, okay, that's definitely something that I'm gonna get into when I'm done playing.
Where do you think that knack for helping people came from?
I couldn't tell you because I mean, both my parents are they are supportive and they definitely help others, but they're not both the positions that they have for like work. It's not necessarily caring for other people. They manage other people, and so maybe I guess that's where the coaching part of it come from. But as far as like wanting to coach and care for others to make sure they get whatever they need and to make sure they have the best career, like I think that just came on its own from being a leader at junior college, and it's just something I kind of realized about myself.
Now you're working at Bethany Lutheran. You're with head coach Danny Nealand with the Moondogs. What's it been like working with Danny?
Danny's awesome. He has a great knowledge for the game. I love being around him. Uh, I sit next to him in the dugout every game. We both kind of share the duty for calling pitches. He definitely does most of it, but he also asks for my input. He trusts me in what I know, and so it's been great to learn from him on how to scout for games, how to call against certain hitters, and how to just prepare practices and stuff like that. So it's been a huge help being around him, and I feel like I've definitely learned a lot from only being with Danny for I would say about maybe 6 months. So
What were those conversations like with Danny to get you on the Moondog staff for this summer?
um, it was really early in our fall when we were getting started. I mean, this is my first like Bethany was my first coaching gig, and uh, he was like, I really like what you're doing so far with the guys, even though it's only been maybe a month. He's like, I really like what you're doing. I think I want to sit down and have a conversation with you about potentially coaching for the Moondogs. He's like, one, I already have a trust for you with you working here and seeing how you are with the pitchers already. And he's like, two, it makes it easier that I'm going to be working with you at Bethany during the season, and it's going to help me be able to um, kind of control and coach a pitching staff in the summer. So
What's your experience been like in summer collegiate baseball?
I actually didn't play too much. I did a couple summers in the SCBL down in Charlotte because it was close to UNC Asheville where I played out my last 2 years. So I did a couple of years there. And I mainly did that because I was training with Tread at the time. That's also in Charlotte. And it was a really easy, like, hey, let me go train at Tread during a week, and then let me go throw once a week for the summer league team. So that was easy for me. And I think I played in like the 5 tool baseball league my summer going into college because I graduated the year of COVID, and then I also played in that same league after I redshirted my freshman year. So it's pretty minimal and it was small, but it was definitely fun experiences. Like it was easily the best time of my life. Like you're just there to have a good time and continue to play. So it's awesome. I love it.
Graduating from high school during COVID, obviously a really weird time. What was that process like? I'm sure your baseball season got canceled. Like, what went into all that?
It was weird. It kind of didn't hit me that I wasn't gonna have a senior season till we had like I would say 2 weeks after they told us to go home because it hit right around spring break, and they're like, "Hey, just obviously you're going home for spring break. We're not gonna have any games over spring break, but like we'll be back." And then they're like, "Hey, we're gonna extend it another 2 weeks," and I was like, "Okay, I guess I may not be having a senior season." So it was pretty weird. I don't think I fully came to grasp with it, and I think it made the transition into college baseball even harder because the school I went to in UIW, they brought all the guys that because I think schools were given the option to whether they wanted to support the seniors who were on scholarship if they wanted to come back and get that scholarship again to have their extra year. And they brought all of them back. So I'm sitting there as an 18-year-old playing against like a bunch of 22 and 23-year olds. And I'm sitting here, I'm like, I can't compete. I was like, these guys are just, I have no shot at playing here. So that was a rough experience for sure.
Yeah, how did you overcome that?
Um, I mean, it was a rough year, and I kind of just told myself I was like, hey, let me like just suck it up through this first year of college. Like let's get through it. And I said, okay, I need to take a step back, and I'm leaving. I'm going to junior college. I need a fresh start, just to be able to breathe. Like I was and going to junior college was easily the best experience, and it was the best choice. I mean, I left a full scholarship on the table to do that. It's just a place where I wasn't comfortable being at anymore, and I think that was a crucial step for me in my career for sure.
What did you get out of the JUCO experience?
Definitely hard work. There's was nothing to do in the town. I was in Dodge City, Kansas, and so about the only thing to do was baseball. And so I sat there. I would go to the gym for an hour or two before our practices. Our practices were about, I would say, 3 hours or so. I would spend time doing early work, and so I was basically over at our facility for probably anywhere from 4 to 6 hours a day for the most part of the week, and I just got to grow a love for actually working hard for the game and having a sense of discipline in doing all your daily work and stuff. And I feel like that's kind of helped me show up um, in the work that I do now for Bethany. Just being disciplined with what I do on a daily basis. And I think another thing too was to not take things for granted because at JUCO it's obviously not there's not the bells and whistles. It's not the sweet lifestyle. It's nose to the grindstone, and so there's definitely appreciation for that as well. Of appreciating the little things that you that you get in life, and things like that. So
But you were growing up in the San Antonio area. Now you're living full time in Mankato. Obviously, two very different places. What's that transition been like?
better than I thought. Obviously, it was a harsh winter. Definitely the most snow I've seen in my life, but um, I think spending a couple of years in Kansas. I know Kansas isn't quite the same as Minnesota, but I think at times it gets just about as cold in Kansas as it does in Minnesota, and so I think that prepared me a little bit for it. Um, but for the most part, it's been an easy transition, especially um, my roommate is also on the coaching staff, so that even made it a better transition for me to kind of be like, hey, here's how things are done in our program. Here's our daily stuff. Here's the town. Same thing with our head coach here, Ryan Craig for Bethany. Uh, he kind of took me in for a week when I moved in and was like, "Hey, here's all of our stuff. Here's everything you're gonna need. What else do you need?" So it was a real easy transition for me, and I loved it. I felt right at home as soon as I got here.
And with the other assistants on the staff, with Benji and Sam for the MoonDogs, have you been in contact with them? What have those conversations been like?
We've had like a brief conversations in our group chats that we have with Danny. We haven't had too much conversation. I think we're all pretty focused on where all of us individually are coaching at the moment, and obviously we'll have more conversation once we get um, to summertime when we're about to start the Moondog season. So
And right now, at this point, as we're really gearing up for the season, what can the fans expect from this group of Moondogs players?
I think it's going to be a really special group. I talk about once a week with Danny about this group, and it looks like it's going to be a really special group, especially if they all come together and be able to play on a daily basis. I think the staff is going to be really good. There's a bunch of really solid numbers that we've seen from them this spring for the guys that we're bringing in, and we're still continuing to obviously see if we can add to it. But Danny and I feel really good about the roster that's been put together, and we're super excited for it.
And as a pitching coach, how do you look to get the most out of your pitchers this summer?
Just making sure that they get what they need every day, making sure that they're on a consistent schedule, doing what they need to do on a daily basis. If it's with starters, making sure like, hey, what day do you want to bullpen? What do you need from me in between these days? Like, what do you need from me on your bullpen day? Things like that. The summer is all for them to obviously for some guys it's to get playing time and to make sure that they get the innings in and the experience this summer. And then obviously for others it's uh, just a growing tool in some ways, whether it's obviously the mental side on the mound, like they got some innings maybe in the spring, but we want to continue like their coaches want them to continue to kind of grow mentally on the mound. And so I can give a little bit of help there. And it's just tailored to whatever they need because it's the athlete, it's their career. It's obviously I have my coaching career, but at the end of the day it's for the players and it's for their careers. That's why I'm in this business, and so it's I'm going to try to give them whatever they need to be successful on a daily basis and make sure that every time they toe the rubber that they're going to have a good day. So
Were there any coaches like for you that you're kind of taking inspiration from that you had growing up that you're taking inspiration from in your coaching philosophy?
um I would say right now, definitely my junior college coach, Brett, though. He's at Tyler Junior College. He's also down there with my pitching coach from junior college, Eli Egger. They're both at Tyler right now. I learned a ton from them coaching wise, just watching them how they did. Because my first year there, it was only those two guys coaching us. So learned a lot there. And then I picked up on a few things that I've already used for my Asheville coach the 2 years that I was there. Um, so I'm kind of picking bits and pieces from every coach that I've had and kind of combining it into one. And I've already picked up pieces from Ryan Craig here and also Danny. So I'm kind of just um, forming it all together. And I think um, every single one has had some kind of impact of how I coach my guys on a daily basis.
And finally, Shay, this is the big question I like to ask every guest we have here on Off the Leash. This game has taken you many places in life, but what has the game of baseball taught you about life?
Oh, great question. Um, you, I mean, I would say that it's not given to you. Uh, I was not one of those guys that was athletically gifted and he didn't have to work too hard to be super good at the game. And I think my roommate at Asheville put it the best. He's like, you know, you're good at this game because you're disciplined and you put in the hard work. And so I try to do that with everything in life, even with the job that I have now. It's you got to work for it. It's not given. Um, Obviously some things are given the natural ability to do some things, but it only takes you so far. So I think the ability and the discipline to be able to put in the work every day and to continue that on a daily basis is a huge life lesson.
Shay, I appreciate your time. Thank you for coming on, and it should be a fun season.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me.